All right, everybody, welcome to Theory Underground. I'm your host, David McKerracher. Today's going to be a lot of fun. I'm doing a short stream. It's great to have you here. This is an update. It's a update that I would have done monthly, honestly, if this was the world where I just do whatever I want. All right. I'll talk a little bit more about this difference between what it is that I want and what I end up doing as we move into this. Meaning that if you watch the entirety of this video, you will get not only an update of like what am I doing here at Theory Underground, but also you'll learn not just where we're at with everything and kind of how we're thinking about stuff and like what's coming up this weekend versus like plans for stuff that's happening later in the year. You'll also like learn a basic theoretical distinction, the conceptual distinction between desire and drive, especially in this sort of heuristic sense that Mikey uses the term. And of course, now we all use the term this way. So, welcome. Let's get it going in here. Who's here? I can't talk to an empty room. I can't talk to nobody. I need somebody manifest in this chat. Let's see what's going on. I would like to have other people here, not just me. Okay, and while we're on that, I'm gonna go ahead and get on the whiteboard. Why the hell not get on the whiteboard? Am I right? Let's set that up so you can see the whiteboard here. Welcome, Stephen Wallace. How's it going, man? Stephen, welcome. How you doing? You can hear me okay, right? I'm gonna be leaving the computer, moving over here. I'm assuming you can see me now, as long as that camera's working. Who we got here? We got DJ Isuru. Oh, man, I was wondering about you the other day. I had you confused with this other person whose name is almost identical. And I was asking that person, I was like, are you a DJ? And the answer was no, that person was not. So it's good to have you here, Isuru. Oh, we got Rebecca in the chat. How you doing, Rebecca? Good to see you. How you doing? How you doing? Haven't read your long piece yet. I was in the mood for it when you started typing it, and then I was off doing other things by the time it came around. Oh, let's turn the lights on. Come on now. Hey! Welcome. How's it going? How's it going? All right. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to give you all a quick little crash course on some of the stuff that I'm doing. I'll make some sort of meta theoretical points about some bullshit. And we'll be out of here within an hour because I'm going to go watch a movie with my lovely wife. I should have called her my secretary. I should have said, I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go on a date with my secretary. That's what I should have said. She's been kind of functioning as that for the last week because she needed a part-time gig. And so I have her doing some bullshit. Some bullshit that I would have done, theoretically. Probably not. Some of it I would have done. Some of it I would have never gotten to, for sure. Yo. Doll good. Yeah. I mean, what can we say, right, Rebecca? Like, that conversation, it's happening, but it's just taking forever. Does this keyboard not work? I don't think this keyboard works, y'all. Okay. Well, that'll just mean I can't do the kind of multitasking I thought I was going to be doing on this stream, but that's going to be probably better for you all anyway. So I just can't type in the chat. I can't share things in the chat. That's fine. That's fine. Bullshit is the cornerstone to keep it going, says Ian. 100%. So the stream is called I Can't Do Whatever I Want. So I'm going to put want up here. Versus, I know most people, you're thinking need. Nope. It's not want versus need today. It's like want versus what I can't not do. What I, oh, sorry, what I can't not do. Okay, so there's what I want to do versus what I can't not do. I want to deep focus and study the texts that I want to study, but I can't not do this organization work that I have to do. Now, some of this work that I have to do, I literally have to do it. Other work that I have to do, I don't literally have to do it, meaning that someone else could technically do it. A lot of it right now, I have to do it. Moving forward, some of this stuff that I am currently doing, I will not have to continue doing. So thank you. Thank you to all the people who have been patient and stuck around over the course of the last month, which has been a fucking nightmare. But with all that said, it's also been the best, most informative, most like growth producing, I don't know, kinds of, it's like a pressure cooker these last couple months has been like what I learned between November and December has increased some of my abilities on some of the things that I just don't see myself as the kind of person who does some of the kind of stuff that I ended up having to do. Are you following? Does that make sense? Evan, what's up, Evan? Look, we got a bunch of people in here. Got Evan. We got Swole. Bro, is that not equivalent to saying I can do it? No, it's not. This is not math or logic. Yeah, sorry. No, double negation only is true in certain kinds of dialectics, math, or logic. But existentially, to say that you can't not do something is very different from saying that you can do that thing. Does that make sense? Does everyone else get the distinction? Yeah, Evan says it. He said to TB, yes, but it doesn't work like a formula. I mean, we could say that it does work like a formula, just not that kind of formula, right? Because what we're getting at is the distinction between desire and drive, right? Now, there is stuff that your drive has you doing that can change. I'm not a drive determinist, and I'm not a drive leveler. I think a lot of people into psychoanalysis or psychoanalytically informed social theory are drive levelers and drive determiners or determinists. I'm not. At a certain level, I guess I am. It depends on the sense that we're using these terms. All right. So to say that I can't not do something is not to say that with time and effort, it couldn't be otherwise. I know the double negations are very frustrating. I get it. Just bear with me. The reason is because just because your English teacher told you double negations are redundant and you can just put it forward as a positive, doesn't mean that your English teacher understands drive. Okay? I'm not saying I understand it more than some people, but I understand it more than a lot of people at this point. I understand it enough to basically say, if we're going with Mikey's basic heuristic distinction, and this is something that even Todd McGowan will sometimes sort of complicate, right? When I say it's a heuristic, right? I'll write that word up here. Heuristic. It means it's a learning device. It's for getting through a point. So you shouldn't take it to be some absolute ontological, definitive take where it's just like, this is the unalterable truth. No, think about it this way. It'll help you get towards the thing that we're trying to get at. Okay? Right. Oh, we've got our residential psychoanalytician in the house. Jacob, good to see you. How you doing? We got a few residentials, but you're the one who's here. So the heuristic sense is to say, on the one side you have desire, on the other side you have drive. One is what you want to do. The other thing is what you can't not do. So I can do all kinds of things. I can jump out this window. But to say that I can't not jump out this window would mean, I'm sorry, I want to not jump out this window, but I'm going, bye, splat, and then I'm dead. Actually, this is not a very high second story window. I'd probably just sprain my ankle. You know, to make a point, I might have to jump out the window. Tell me I don't have to jump out the window, okay, to make this point. So to say that I'm not a drive determinist or leveler is to say there are different kinds of drive. I'm not going to accept the Lacanian proposition that all drives are based in death drive, though I think that might be true. I'm still open to a lot when it comes to drive theory. I'm still working through it. And most of what I'm working through, most of my conceptual distinctions, you will not get on the public side at Theory Underground, at least for a year, right? A lot of this is being cooked up in the seminar, but I'm working through thinking about the differences between mainly Plato, Lacan, and Heidegger. But of course, I'm thinking about them all in reference to a sort of Marxian approach that is also, on the other side of it, Nietzschean, okay? Nietzschean. Now, for me, it's like all of them have something that is right and something that is wrong. And so for me, it's like trying to think through drive and how it works for me, drive how it works for other people, drive how it works for them, trying to square all of those things. That's what I'm getting at. I will talk more about that, and I will engage with the chat some more. But I want to say a few things about what is it that I can't not do here? I can't not make content at Theory Underground. Now, I mean, we could say, well, Dave, yes, but like, what if you lost your channel? Yeah, for sure. Oh, Dave, what if you decided you burnt out one day? Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, Dave, what if you were to train yourself to like use some other platform? Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the possibility of changing that, of redirecting that, that's possible. If your drive has you serial killing people, you know, if you're a serial killer and you're watching this, I don't want you to think that you are determined to have to do that, because there might be some other way. I don't know what's best for you. Maybe the only way that you can deal with it is to become something like Dexter, in which case, don't kill me. I hope you get my enemies instead, you know, like, but also don't. That's not an endorsement. I'm just joking. All right, this is all for fun. My point is that there's a huge gray area between desire and drive. And of course, it's habitus. And habitus is what happens between field specific positions and dispositions. So you have a fundamental disposition. You are either born into or socialized into X, Y, and Z fields. The school is a field. Specific courses you really care about, or kinds of classes that you really care about, could be a field. Sports could be a field. Art could be a field. The family could be a field. A field exists anywhere where there is something to be gained from caring about anything other than money. Anywhere that there's something to be gained or lost, and it doesn't have anything to do with money, we can talk about the symbolic capital of that field. Okay? I am simplifying in certain ways that only some people will be aware of, and it doesn't matter. They should be able to understand that this is an exoteric discourse. And my point is heuristic. So with that said, we could talk about how habit acquisition or refinement can change the course of your habitus. Yeah, we could talk about that. We could talk about, go read Atomic Habits. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. 12 Rules for Life. Okay, sure. Go read those books. They'll teach you a little bit about habitus formation. But they're not thinking about fundamental dispositions being what have to mediate, they're not thinking about how you and I and all of us have to mediate our fundamental dispositions with the field of positions that we are navigating. Now, if that field is one that it's just a job, you're not super invested in it, well, then it doesn't really kind of doesn't count the same way. Like a field is a field insofar as it interpolates you via the illusio, right? Which is to say, you're convinced that there's a lot to be won or lost, and it's not about money. It's about respect, recognition, honor, sign value, symbolic capital, etc., etc., etc. Okay? All right. Yeah, but my drive has me all over the fucking place. I want, just give you an example of kind of where I'm coming from with this. I want to keep the TU podcast up to date. I want to keep the TU podcast up to date. I didn't even click record on this because I was like, oh, it's just a live stream. It's just a YouTube. And to me, that feels easier than thinking, oh yeah, this also has to go out on the pods. It's something wrong with me. I don't understand. But I just can't seem to hook into producing on the podcasts the same way that I do on YouTube. There's something about YouTube. I fucking can't do that with Facebook Live or Twitch or Instagram Live or Twitch or Twitter Live. No, there's something about YouTube. This is TV to me. This is the only place that is valid TV in my world. And I don't know why. It's just part of it. I can't not do it, though. I would prefer to be writing right now. I would prefer to be researching right now. I would prefer to be fine-tuning a new PSA right now. There's a lot of things that I would prefer to do, but there is the brute fact of, at the end of the day, when I'm not feeling optimistic, when willpower is not enough to get me through the week, when goals and vision boards and time management, schedules, calendar, when all of that shit falls apart, when all the ideals that I've projected forward for the week, for the month, for the year, when all of that falls apart, at the end of the day, what remains is that I'm going to keep doing what I can't not do. So I don't get to do what I want. There's levels to this, though. There are things that I want to do that I will end up doing. If I want to do them long enough and I keep putting them off, drive itself will rebel in some interesting way. So that's why I said drive and desire, we're only separating them for heuristic purposes. They're not actually separate. It's a Mobius strip. It's a rubber band. It's, so like when the rubber band gets loosened and is like, breath of fresh air, relief, the pleasure principle, desire, this side. But when the rubber band is tight and it feels like it's pulling you places or it's driving you places. Now we're talking about drive. Now we're talking about what I can't not do. Good philosophy, good theory ought to make us more cognizant of our delusions. It's not necessarily going to disabuse us of all delusions, but it can at least potentially humble us a little bit when it comes to our ideals versus our own reals, which is to say, like Nietzschean ressentiment would be an example of that humbling. Once you realize how fundamental ressentiment is for the thinking life, that's the point at which you go, oh, so, these big games that I've been playing for intellectual, moral, or aesthetic superiority, these are like cheap ways of turning necessity into a virtue that I can signal by just saying I don't approve of people who are better in these various spheres, the intellectual, moral, or aesthetic, right? There's a whole thing here that we can get into. It's a whole thing here that we can get into. But I'm going to put off some of it for right now. And I'll come back to the chat. I swear to God, I'll come back to the chat. But I want to, on this note, now that I feel like I've established the difference between what it is that I can't not do and what it is that I want to do, I want to tell you like what happens when I sit down and I try to actually get some work done. Okay? If I'm focused, here's an example of what happens in 18 minutes when I am quote unquote focused. So I connected and set up everything at Push and Pour, the coffee shop. I found the file for the libido talk. I wrote a realization that I had about something very important related to my research. Now that I'd found the libido talk, I set it to export. Then I responded to inquiries about Benjamin Studebaker's upcoming course. Somebody was wondering about some information on that. It starts on the fourth Sunday of this month. Not the last, but the fourth Sunday of this month. Then I was tagged in a nice note on Substack. So I restacked it and commented. And then I made my own note on Substack. And then I started an email to one of my patrons. Now I'll read the next 18 minutes of what I did in a second. First, I want to say shout out to the patrons. The patrons are some oddballs. They want to spend money on Theory Underground. Now, it's not weird to want to spend money on Theory Underground. Lots of people want to spend money on Theory Underground, but there's a certain kind of person who can't not spend money on Theory Underground. There's just something that makes it so they go, I just gotta do it. And there's two ways to do that. One is a way that gets you a whole bunch of special access to courses, special access to seminars, special access to discounts, to meetings, to all kinds of crap, right? Yeah, well, that's a TU membership. Link in the description. But the patrons are different. They're different. They're a different kind of breed. I don't even know anything about them. I don't have analytics on their data usage or their work-life balance, but whatever it is about them, they're the kind of person who not only can't not give money to this project, but specifically do it so that you, dear viewer, you, awesome membership, you, random viewer, you, people who maybe been around for like a few weeks, few months, maybe you've been binging, maybe you've been dipping in and out of live streams, whatever, so that you are able to watch more free content. The people on the Patreon make the free content possible. And there's this huge gratitude that I feel that results in a sense of debt, an indebtedness that almost feels like guilt, to such an extent that I actually closed down my Patreon back in 2020. Maybe it was 2021, I don't know. Point being, at some point, I canceled my Patreon because I felt bad, because I was like, why are these people giving me money? What am I even doing with it? Is it anything really that meaningful? No. I wanted to reassess everything. I wanted to enter what I call a time of moratorium, a time of serious political phenomenology and socioanalysis. Now, I didn't have those words back then. I had phenomenology and I had politics. I had social theory. I had psychoanalysis. But I did not understand the necessary connections between socioanalysis and political phenomenology. And I definitely didn't understand how they interconnect, which it's all stuff that I get into in my seminars. I'm not going to do that here. I'm not going to do that right now. My point is to say shout out to the Patreon, because I'm kind of doing this for you guys right now. I spent the last year promising to do update streams for my patrons, and then I didn't do it. And that's why I'm going to add Patreon updates on the whiteboard under what I want to do, but what I end up doing is a whole different story, isn't it? It's TMI, FOMO, ADHD, autistic, obsessive, joy. It wins out over pleasure. I prefer to be strung out in multitask mode, doing the kind of stuff that I do where I'm listening to a book while I'm writing notes in preparation for a seminar, while I'm finishing sending an email to a subscriber, and then I'm switching over to making the intro to fault line theory playlist for people who are really excited about Mikey's ongoing research seminar and are wondering how to access it. I still haven't added that to when you log into theoryunderground.com and you become a subscriber and you click on the playlist section. It should be showing up right there. It's not there yet. I have not learned how to input that stuff there yet. My programmer just made it so that I can do that like a week ago. He sent me instructions on how to do that. That's one of the things that I've been productively procrastinating against while doing what I can't not instead of like what I want to. Productive procrastination. I juggle so many things. And yes, a lot of it falls through the cracks. A lot of it falls through the cracks. It's a lot to handle. But I get some kind of unbridled, like stupid, nerdy joy from doing so many different things. It's just the way that it is. So yeah, in the follow-up 18 minutes, I sent that email, made the intro to fault line playlist, emailed my programmer, emailed my administrative assistant, pulled up a history of the payments to my programmer. I compared emails to make sure we had all that stuff in order. And then I published the episode on Plato and Lacan on Drive versus Deleuze and Bob Dylan. That was a fantastic episode with Mikey, Benjamin, Nance. And yeah, I put it up on the podcast. And then I realized I needed to separate the TU update from some medium theory I was doing. So I was making these notes of what I was doing in a given period of time. And I was working on a TU update. And at the same time, I was like theorizing the medium, because I've been thinking about the medium and the algorithm and the way it plays with our desire and drive, something like a Befindlichkeit piano. So that'll mean something to some people, and then other people it's like, for now, think of it like this. We all have our fundamental dispositions. Your fundamental disposition means a certain proclivity or propensity for a certain kind of attunement. A certain kind of attunement could mean certain kinds of moods. You have some people who are just kind of naturally serious. You have some people who are naturally superficial, seemingly. You have some people who are fun. Some people who are, I don't know, a stick in the mud, right? There's a spectrum of moods. Some people are quick to anger. Some people are slow to wrath, right? There's a whole spectrum of mood dispositions that we can think about that go atop a person's fundamental predisposition. So your fundamental predisposition has its certain kinds of attunements. You take yourself on an average week, month, year, think about the different moods you cycle through and the rate or rapidity of changes between those moods, right? What we're getting at is the kinds of moods that follow from your fundamental predisposition and then how you mediate that in a world with a lot of other people and these things that we call fields with the positions that can be won or lost in them. So you're in a school, that's a field. It's got positions, prize student, worst student, average student, and then you can think about all the different identity categories like punk and goth and prep and jock or whatever. I know these are like 1980s Hollywood stereotypes, but we use these sort of stereotypes to be like, oh yeah, I'm kind of like that, but I'm not really like that, and I'm definitely not like that, right? Like so, like identity through negation, you situate yourself in the field. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Once again, I'm oversimplifying. This is shorthand. It's heuristics. Bear with me. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that in a few minutes' time, I usually do a lot of different things. Now, I think this kind of multitasking can be something that drives some people absolutely crazy. And there's different kinds of people that it drives crazy. There's people who their disposition is to be focused. And then there's other people where their disposition is not to be focused. They've been rewired by the medium, where it's all, sorry, that was supposed to be an I, where it's all TMI, FOMO, ADHD, obsessive autistic joy. They're programmed to be that way by the medium, but their fantasy is to be this focused person, and so they resent it. They resent it deeply. There are people who get triggered by multitasking. They don't like it at all. They get angry at the idea. And there are researchers who've gone out and done social science and come back with the idea that it's never productive to be multitasking, or it's just never as good, right? So like you don't retain information the same if you're multitasking. Yeah, well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. We don't give a shit. We're developing new learning styles here, though, aren't we? Yes, we are. They include paying just enough attention to get the lay of the land, to figure out if it's worth coming back to later, in which case you can always word search the transcript, jump to the point you want to repeat, and you can always repeat it to get clarity later. This kind of necessary repetition, because you are a multitasker and you're not like doing this scholastic, comprehensive note-taking bullshit because you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you are fragmented because of your academic and work schedule type work week. Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy that the thing that we should be doing is beating ourselves up, telling ourselves that we just need to focus more. It's possible that you could be like me and you could be more productive as a multitasker than someone who spent 20 years beating himself up trying to be focused. But with that said, I have no problem focusing deeply for long periods of time. Sometimes. That's where people are going to be like, oh, is it autism or is it ADHD? And then I'm going to say, it's the medium, motherfucker. Stop trying to diagnose everybody like you're a goddamn psychologist or some bullshit. The whole point of socioanalysis is to understand how this stuff is social. It might not be totally social, but insofar as it's social, you want to understand how much of it actually is social. Okay. So, this update's supposed to get into all the things that I want to do versus all the things that I can't not do. And at the same time, it's supposed to lay out what I'm actually doing. Like, what am I actually doing? What have I been doing for the last 9 days? I have written the Theory Underground member handbook, draft 1. I have started the TU local ground game that we will be experimenting with and implementing across the United States throughout this year. I have been working with Will on the documentary and its plans and trying to find all of the files across all of the different external drives and then get those where they need to be. I have been working on trying to figure out how much of the socials, content clipping, and marketing might be reasonably done by some other person if they were being paid to do so. I don't want to, preferably I don't want to do volunteering, right? I am currently working with a volunteer. Shout out to Ian, who's in the chat right now. Ian, please let everyone know about what's happening tomorrow. Subscribers, you're welcome to join. Information was in the email that got sent out today, but if you decide to subscribe tonight, just email hello.theoryunderground@gmail.com or shout out in the Discord and we'll get you the info that you need. But the clipping is all part of this big plan for copy pasta agitprop. Basically, we're going to be teaching you how to use OBS, how to use Adobe Premiere, how to find good parts of videos, how to clip those, how to make those something that you would put up on Eclipse like YouTube, how to put those up on Instagram and add Theory Underground as a collaborator, how to put them up on like a TikTok. The point is like empowering you to understand how to use production technology, the absolute cutting edge of production technology for doing what it is that we're doing, and learning how to do it from one of the best non-techie people who does this kind of thing. I'm not a tech kind of guy, but I have learned how to do these kinds of things because there's what I want to do and there's what I can't not do. And when it comes to the tech, I fucking hate it, but I've forced myself to learn the things that I've had to learn to be able to do the things that I'm currently doing, including this whole setup where I've got lights and a whiteboard and the camera and I can change the camera perspectives and I can do it all while live streaming, and then I can run a PSA so that you can know all about something that's coming up, and then I can come right back. Yeah, the whole deal, the whole enchilada, every one of the potatoes, however you want to say it. There's a lot of ways to skin this cat. My current experiment is where it's at, which is a lot further along than I think a lot of people's. And I can accelerate your development exponentially if you're slipstreaming me into how to simply clip. And if you can develop a good clip library, these will become not just notes in a sort of sense, like you're taking notes for the stuff that you're studying at TU. You'll also be developing yourself with a set of skills that are transferable. This set of skills will grow with you. And then you could say, oh, Dave, what? AI will do all that for me. I'll just wait for AI to do. Yeah, 10 years, motherfucker. It'll be 10 years before AI can do the stuff that I'm doing. And at the point that AI can do the stuff that I'm doing, I'll be 20 years ahead of the AI. I fucking promise you. Everyone you know in your life might be replaceable by AI, but it's going to be a long time before it catches up with me. All right? I say that confidently because apparently when you say things confidently, people trust you more. So, let's do that. Of course, not you guys. You guys get it. So, yeah, right now I've been thinking a lot about and worrying about and working on the podcast migration. It turns out Substack is not the place to start new podcasts. It was tanking my numbers, and it was annoying me that I was even caring about the numbers. But when I go to a 60% open rate on my emails from Substack down to a 20%, all because I'm posting podcast episodes to Substack, I noticed that. And the point is that the people who are following the Substack want to read. They don't care about audio listening. No, duh. If Substack can eventually figure out a way of working with different kinds of people, with different kinds of libidinal economies that have different kinds of needs, with different kinds of media consumption habits, and well, I mean, that'd be great, right? That'd be fantastic if Substack could figure that out. But for right now, they're trying to implement video and audio and streaming, but they're not there yet because their base, like the main people who are there for written word. And the written word is something Theory Underground cares about. And we've got books and we've got stuff that we post to the Substack. And people are there for it. But we're not going to tank our numbers by putting it all there. So I had to start the Podbean networker plan, which is $1,000 a year, basically. Like, that's kind of crazy. But to have why left and what's right and why us, and then the secret fourth podcast, as well as all the episodes that happen from the M-Stews that we do, the Epic Marathon streams at Theory Underground. Next one's going to be on the 24th of this month. It's going to be epic. It's going to have so much cool shit, like the Haas Catrone contradiction, the Mikey McGowan contradiction, as well as a spicy conversation about sex and gender with Ann and Kier on what's right. We'll be talking about a couple new movies out in theaters, including Baby Girl, and one, the name of which I cannot remember for the life of me because it's a weird-ass name. Anyway, yeah, I've been working on the podcast migration. I'm having up to 2 business meetings per week with our new manager, Benjamin Studebaker, who's been onboarded at Theory Underground almost completely. I mean, we didn't sign like contracts and shit, but it's just, these are spit and handshake kind of deals, and we're just seeing how the relationship pans out. We're feeling each other out, working together. He's an order guy. I'm a chaos guy. He is a focus laser beam guy. I am the ADHD multitasker at the end of history doing experiments with the medium, right? So we're collaborating, and we're doing at least 2 weekly meetings just on the business stuff. But there's weeks like this one where it's like 5 business meetings, right? I don't want to be doing meetings at all. Okay? I don't want that, but I can't not do that. Except that the meetings are not in my drive. They're not in my drive at all. I can go 6 months or a year without doing a single fucking meeting with anybody. And I just do everything myself because I hate meetings so much. I can't stand Zoom meetings. I can't stand chopping my day up with meetings. When I am not in meetings with other people, it's my time, and I know how to use it best, and I know my priorities, and I know that I'm working on these 20 things, and I can just sit here and work on them like a gardener in a garden or on a farm, pruning tomatoes and tying up things. But then, I'm going to do something over here with the carrots, and then I'm going to do something over here with the potatoes, and then I'm going to do something over here with the horseradish. And you're moving between the different things. And then I'll take that over here while I'm at it, and I'll do this and I'll do that. Oh, and I'm listening to books the whole time, right? Oh, yeah. It's very productive in its own weird way. I think I do more than 50 people who are paid full-time could do in a sort of sense. But at the same time, stuff falls through the cracks. And there are certain things when I'm doing everything myself that would be done better by someone else, right? That's why I'm trying to set Ann up to be a little bit more like the admin communication, because when people are having technical problems, or they don't know where their money's at, or they don't know how to get their goodies because they paid for something, or they're wondering about when this course starts, or where's the information with the schedule, like where's that sheet, like why can't I access that on the website, like I thought I migrated, why can't I see the things, or oh my god, I'm in the Discord, thanks for reconfiguring it last night guys, but I can't actually see X, Y, and Z. And doesn't hate that. I do. And if I hate it and I have to do it, try to imagine how the customer service experience must be going. Try. It's not good, guys. Most people in my position don't respond, don't engage. I do respond. I feel obligated to in some weird way. It's just a thing about me. But then I get all angry because I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to be doing this right now. And then if they're a little bit disrespectful or if they come off like they are just assuming certain things that they shouldn't be assuming, I'll just be blunt. I'll be honest. I'll tell them what's up and they don't fucking like it. No one does. Would I like it? No one likes it. I might appreciate it like after the fact, but in the moment, you never appreciate it, right? That's why I just need to be doing other things, right? For sure. So I've been working on the podcast migrations. I've been working on these business meetings. I've been doing tour preparations. We weren't going to do a tour this year. Now we're doing 2. We can't not tour. It's just unstoppable. I don't know what's wrong, but it's happening, guys. And that's in part, largely because of the documentary. We have so much footage from the American tour in 2023 and from the European tour in 2024, but we're basically going to do it over again, and we're just going to focus on collaborating with the people who gave us the most energy without feeling like they were shorted. There's some people who we get energy from collaborating with, but then when you find out that it wasn't mutual, then you're like, oh, okay, well, there's other people where it's like mutually beneficial and we all feel like it was a plus to work together. And then there's people who are big time and energy sucks from tour, and we're just not going to do anything with them ever again. At least not anytime soon, all right? So like that's kind of, we're sitting here trying to plan the whole country. We're going to be going from the West Coast to the East Coast and back to the West Coast. We're going to be doing IRL events on the East Coast, the West Coast, and we're also going to be at the LAC conference in Ohio in mid-March. And then we're also going to be at the Platypus Affiliated Society convention at the very beginning of April. So, stay tuned for some epic panels there at both LAC and Platypus. But then we'll be doing our own events, our own brand, because LAC and Platypus, awesome organizations. I have deep, deep respect for Todd McGowan and Chris Catrone. And in fact, I'd say that I respect them more as organizers than I do as theorists, not because I don't respect them as theorists, but because I respect organizers at a certain level, especially organizers who are organizing in the worlds, in the spaces that they're organizing. Both Catrone and McGowan are organizers who are trying to do something outside of the academy while within the academy. So they're doing proto-underground theory, and they're resisting certain tendencies of their fields, while at the same time harnessing other ones. For instance, if you've got a salary and it's guaranteed, and you've got institutional funding to do things like conferences, harness that, but counter the good old boys club. Counter the symbolic capital games. That is something McGowan has been working on and refining for over 10 years with Hillary. I haven't met her yet, but I understand she's a very important part of that dynamic and organization. So is Jennifer Friedlander and Henry, her husband. Okay, but with all that said, then we got Catrone doing the platypus thing. Absolutely amazing. It's a little bit more underground in a sort of sense. It's more outside of the academy. But it's Marxist. They don't do the French fried German theory like we do. And they're not post-class fractured mass pilled. They still believe that we have a thing called civic society. They still believe in this thing called the mass or the proletariat. There's different ways of configuring that. And that's a really interesting conversation, right? It's a very interesting conversation. It's one worth having over the course of the next 10 years. And I fucking love, in a sort of undying sense, these men, Catrone and McGowan, for the work that they've done. And so I wanted to hold up their most recent books as proof that I love them. and say, I just can't wait to be reading these books on tour and attending their conferences. But what's Theory Underground itself going to be doing? Well, we're going to be doing IRL events. Some of them are going to be hybrid, meaning that they will also be for people on the internet. Some of them will be live streamed. Some of them will be private. So there's a lot of very interesting stuff coming with the ground game. And people who were present for the Agora lecture probably have a little bit more of a sense for what we're talking about, because the Agora is a kind of Bildung mech that is going to change the game. And people will have to talk about it even if they hate our guts. And that's the kind of situation. The Agora is kind of like the Turn, but it's for speech as opposed to writing. Does that make sense? If you know about the Turn, that should make sense. If you don't know about the Turn, go watch Sean. He was the first one to be up on the Turn here at Theory Underground, meaning that we seriously engaged with his writing, and we subjected it to some kind of like critical analysis and dialogue, and that's what the Agora also is, except that, whereas Sean's doing underground theory writing, the Agora is adjacent to alien anthropology in that it is a specific experiment response to the post-class fractured mass thesis. And you can go watch the PCFM lecture that I did with Ann a few months ago. It's free here on the channel, thanks to the patrons. Anyway, so yeah, podcast migration, business meetings, tour prep, documentary prep, Discord reconfiguration. I said it, we did that yesterday. You know, when I do one of these 12-hour streams or like a 17-hour stream, like at the end of that, I start to feel satiated. I can even feel a little tired at some point. I might start to feel a little like, woo, getting a little spacey. I've been going all day, right? I was more exhausted from 2 hours of Discord reconfiguration, conversation, and praxis. I was more exhausted and frazzled from 2 hours of that than I was from, or than I've ever been from any MSTU that I've ever done with Nance. Just a complete fucking nightmare, man. That is, Discord reconfiguration is something that I wanted to do for the whole last year, but I could not do all of the other things that take the place of that, such as the TU ground game. That takes big precedence. Socials, clipping, marketing, sometimes that stuff takes precedence. Streaming takes precedence. Writing my books takes precedence. Preparing for my lectures and my seminars takes precedence. Organizing other people's lectures and seminars takes precedence. But there's also so many other threads of things that I want to do better, but I can only muster the willpower to do them for some amount of time before drive takes over and I'm doing what I can't not do, which includes the website, the Discord, the branding, engaging with the live chat, engaging nicely with the live chat, the gamified incentive structure for people to be able to see their progress as they move through courses. And then finally, like the actual meetings. Yeah, that's the stuff that it's like I'm constantly trying, and yeah, sometimes succeeding, but most of the time, if we try to make that shit regular, nah. And so, yeah, what's taken precedence? The What's Right podcast, the Why I Left podcast, the shit I've been doing with Nance, which includes the Why Us podcast, very, 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 very secret, special, esoteric 6-hour session that we did last week, the day before I did the Agora talk. We're calling it the B-side to the Agora. It's something that only subscribers who do the homework assignments are going to be able to access. And finally, I want to say a few things about some of the stuff that's coming up, because, I mean, what I've essentially laid out is I'm doing a lot of things. Okay. Yeah, we get it, Dave. But the stuff that's coming up. So I just did this Agora talk. Subscribers get access to that, right? Well, And not YouTube subscribers, not Substack subscribers, not Patreon subscribers. All of those kind of subscriptions have their own functions. Welcome to neo-feudalism. There's a subscription for everything. The subscription for freeing Mikey and helping me to eventually employ people to do the parts of this operation that I can't actually bring myself to do in a routine way. That's the TU subscription at theoryunderground.com/subscribe. Those people are getting access to Benjamin Studebaker's first ever seminar this Saturday. No, sorry, this Sunday. Mikey is up this Saturday. Now, it's not Mikey's first ever. His seminar has been around since July of last year. But this is the first of 2025, and he's going to be talking about his critique of therapism, toxic positivity, and also toxic negativity. If you're keen in the analytic or psychoanalytic scene, you might know. But doesn't matter how much you know. You're going to get a lot from this seminar. Benjamin will be talking about what is politics for? What is politics for and why do we need it? These two seminars happen at the times that are best for them, when you get them at their best, so that even if the time doesn't work for you, you'll be able to get a lot from the recording. Trust us. Putting us all on the same time doesn't work the same as putting us on the time that works best for us, so that we are able to do what we got to do so that the recordings are quality and worth repeating. So we have the whole year spaced out so that a busy person can only needs to attend once or twice a week to be able to stay fully in the loop with the braid. Right? We're weaving a braid. We're braiding a rope. Whatever metaphor you like. Check out my most recent Substack post on Theory Underground, the Theory Underground Substack, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This thing that we're weaving is the Philosophy of Nature course that Nina Power is teaching on the fourth Sunday of every month for 2025. As well as the political theory course that Benjamin Studebaker is teaching that takes place on the fourth Saturday of every month for 2025. Benjamin Studebaker's seminar is a different thing. That takes place on the second Sunday of every month. My seminar takes place on the first Sunday of every month. The course I'm teaching on the fundamental problems and core concepts at Theory Underground, that takes place on the, let me check, is that the third Sunday of every month? Yes, it is. So basically the point is like, yeah, sometimes there's a couple of things on the weekend. Sometimes there's only one thing on the weekend, but we are weaving 3 courses and 3 seminars all year long. The seminars are a little bit more kind of professor does whatever the fuck the professor wants to do. Whereas the courses are a little bit more like on a plan. And in some cases, there's like optional homework. And then if you want to do some serious discussion or some serious writing based on the courses, then you get access to that at the higher tiers of the subscription. All of this is how it's coming together. Is that cool? Does that all make sense? What's up, chat? Does that all make sense? Are you not entertained? Yeah, I also want to be working on new PSAs. I spend the whole year always wanting to update the PSA, and then like 2 days of my life will get hijacked by suddenly feeling like I have the drive to do it, and then I get it done. And then every time you see one of those PSAs, you know it came from that kind of space, from that kind of creative, intensive, like I've been wanting to do this for a long time, now I'm finally doing it kind of a space. There are 3 things I'm hoping you will not let me forget to get to. before I close the stream out. Three things that are sort of problems I'm running into. And then I'll also shout out like the movies that we're going to be talking about on What's Right this Saturday. As well as a couple other movies that you can go check out if you want. They're all in theaters right now. All right, I'm going to go sit in front of the other camera here. Where's my water? Oh, my water. My water. I need that. Drink some. It's good for you, for your health. All right. What's up, chat? Let's change the perspectives here so you can see me. And let's see where we're at, eh? I'm gonna read from the bottom to the top. TB, look, psychoanalytic language is weird, but it's not as weird as you. I promise you that. And taking it seriously for a little bit will help you realize how weird you actually are. Whoa, fuck, there's 41 people here. What the hell? What's up, people? I only want to talk to 5 of you. The other 35 can rightfully fuck off. So the 5 of you who I want to tune in on here, zoom in on, I want to say hello. 5 of you are in the loop. You know what's what. You know what it is. Not only do you know what's what, you know what it is. Part of that means that interpolating you isn't really interpolating your ego or your identity that is being curated by your ego as it mediates this space. No, I'm hoping that the part of some of you that I'm calling to the foreground here for a moment is your higher human capacities, aspirations, and even a more ideal kind of self. And I'm not talking about your ideal ego or ego ideal. I am talking about your virtually purposive nature. I'm talking about the fact that you are a purpose and ideal-oriented being. I'm talking about the fact that you are going to be depressed and anxious if your life is reduced to the muddy, crawling existence of the worm. And that if you've been trying to find a way out of that worm-like existence, but you think that the only option for you is to either be a worm or a reptile, then I am here to say we are working on the kind of Bildung mech that opens a horizon for some other kind of life. Shout out to you and welcome. It's great to have you here. Man, it's so fucking cool that Ian is here. It's so fucking cool that Jacob is here. I hope that we'll get to see Jacob when we're on tour. We're definitely going to be seeing Ian. I already know that. TB says, so if I'm hungry, but I have my 7-sided cube, I have desire. What is your 7-sided cube? Desire for food or what? Just desire the emotion? Does the desire not have an object? Like the little a or whatever? Or does little d only have a little a object? Okay, yeah, this is all the psychoanalytic bull. Listen, I love this shit. I'm not going to talk about it too much right now. I just did about as much as I feel like doing. But where you can get the good shit is Mikey's Intro to Lacan course. It's what he taught me back in 2020 and 2021. And also his Intro to Zizek. There's a difference between Zizek 101 and Lacan 101 and then Intro to Zizek. Because he taught an Intro to Zizek course very recently. It was 4 segments long. Each segment was long. It was quite the course. It was fucking awesome. But Intro to Zizek and Zizek 101 and Lacan 101 are playlists that are for free on the front page of the Theory Underground channel. So you're not going to get it any better than binging that. I promise you. All right. So yeah. But you're asking the right questions there, TB. Post Elvis said, this announcement is so chaotic already. LMAO, respect, TBH. Thank you. Welcome to my life. Yeah, that is how it is. Yeah, it looks like Jacob and TB were having a conversation about desire and want and need and when they are or are not getting at the same thing. That's all very interesting. I'm going to kind of just skip it though. Yes, Ian said that tomorrow we will be a demo on how to make cool clips using OBS and Adobe. So an assignment you can all give yourselves is this. What would be a 30-second to 3-minute clip from this stream that you think should go up on a TU Clips channel on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, where the fuck ever? What do you think would be a good 30-second to 3-minute clip from this stream? Drop the timestamp, not here on the live stream chat. Drop it in the comment section later. Or if you're really cool, you could probably figure out how to even do the comment section now. I don't know how to do it right now. That's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Bum, 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 bum. David Ruiz is in the house. What's up, David? Good to see you, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. You would never believe who I have lined up for the January 24th M-Stew. But it was your recommendation. Good job, man. Good job. And by the way, I want to shout out David Ruiz for not doing the annoying kind of comment. People come along and there's a 12-hour stream and the only fucking thing that they say to me is you should talk to so-and-so. I just want to beat the living fuck out of you, you piece of shit. Use your words. Why should I talk to them? Why? What is it about them? And then people say, oh, it's because you're talking about the same thing. Oh, really? In the same way? Is it really the same thing? Do you know that? And then people act like I don't know a bunch of people. It's like, oh my God, dude, not only do I not know that person, but that person has openly said they fucking hate Theory Underground. Or they have actively discouraged their audience from engaging with us, or from signing up for our courses, or from trying to free Mikey, or from the ongoing research seminars. So yeah, it's not just like a field where we're all like happy. And no, it's like we're these underground insurgent people, and there's a bunch of these people in the scene who would love if we did not exist. They would love it. Sad thing for them, though. I've got bad news. We ain't going nowhere. Pew, 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 pew. Let's see if I have this soundbite. I got enemies trying to get... Did you guys hear that? Oh, yeah, you could hear that. I couldn't hear it because my speakers weren't working, but let me switch things around so that I am able to hear. I'm on a Zoom call right now, which is abnormal. I usually have a co-host, and so I'm normally like wearing my headphones. You know what I mean? Not today. But yeah, here's the line. I got enemies trying to get rid of me. Got people that don't like me in the industry. I can feel your energy. You were not a friend of me. Yeah, so anyway, I got people coming up in the comment sections being like, oh, you got to talk to so-and-so. But they never do what Ruiz did, which was he laid out why he respects the person he wants me to talk to. And he was even like, yeah, she watches some of your shit. So like, that was awesome. Not only are there strong kinds of synergistic possibilities here between our research interests, but also it sounds like she doesn't fucking hate us, which is fantastic. That's a great start. She ain't scared, right? It's amazing to find an academic who ain't scared. Anyway, so with all that said, I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else I have to see right now off this chat, and then I'll bring it around to those things that I said that You can't let me forget. Remember? I said, there's some points here that I got to bring up. I have a piece of paper somewhere around me. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Anyway, so, Jacob, TB. Yeah, a lot of this is just Jacob trying to give a little crash course in desire. What did Marx have to say about perception of want and need? He just calls everything needs. There's your answer. Which is actually why The Mirror of Production by Jean Baudrillard is like a really powerful critique of traditional orthodox Marxism. So, I'm not going to say it decimates Marx, no, but definitely decimates a certain kind of Marxism, yeah. All right, so I'm going to get off the chat. Look, there's chat. What's to be done with the chat? What is to be done with this thing? You guys are having too much fun in here. All right, so should I talk about my 3 problems first, or should I talk about like the movie you could go watch if you want to have some fun? I'll start out with one movie you could go watch if you want to have some fun, and I'll pull up another movie that'll be relevant soon while I talk about it. So the first, I'll pull it up on my phone while I talk about it, but while I talk, so we've got this movie called Homestead. It's in theaters right now. I have a request for you all. Please, if you have a moment, if you've got your thumbs free, Jacob, this includes you. Ian includes you. David Ruiz, come on, everybody, clap, clap, clap. Attention, please. If you are handy, if you are around, if you've got your hands free, please look up your local theater situation and see if the movie Homestead is actually in theaters right now in your locale. I'm trying to figure out if this is some weirdo Idaho shit or if it's actually like a Blockbuster or whatever. I don't know. Is it everywhere or is this some local bullshit? Basically, it's like a cheap sort of, I mean, I almost think of it as like one of these B movies that Christians make. You know, like the evangelical Christians, like they make God's Not Dead 1, God's Not Dead 2, God's Not Dead 3. I think there's a God's Not Dead 4 coming up. And then there's the fucking Left Behind movies back in the day, right? Like that kind of shitty B movie that Christians make. Yo, Kim the Second Sung the First said, I saw it in is that New Jersey theater? It's an ad for a streaming service. Yeah. The whole movie is an ad for a streaming service. But you don't know that until the end. All right, Rebecca says it's playing here in SoCal. Hey, Rebecca, I understand your fucking world is burning down right now. Literally. When Anne started telling me about this fire yesterday, I was like, it's not happening. It's in some other part of the world. I don't care. And then she was like, it's burning down entire towns in the winter, Dave. That's not normal. And I was like, oh shit. And then she was like, look, Rebecca posted this image on social media. And I was like, oh shit. That's quite the fire. Fuck. And then I saw Gavin Newsom being like, I don't fucking know why the fire hydrants don't work. Where's all the water? I don't know. So I saw these clips and now I'm like, okay. Something historical in the making, that's for sure. Very interesting. Sorry to hear about that. Anyway, Homestead is playing in SoCal. It's playing in Jersey. So it's on the East Coast. It's on the West Coast. And it's in the middle of nowhere, Idaho. So with that said, this movie is funny and interesting and actually surprised me in a way I didn't see coming. Well, that's redundant, but the point is simply this. Ann and I are going to talk about that on Saturday during our episode of What's Right. The other two movies that you could see, you have a little bit more time to watch these ones because we'll be talking about them on January 24th with Kier, are, I already said one of them, I think it was like Baby Girl. And I'll set the other movie aside for a second while I focus on what I said I was going to tell you all about, which is my problems. Web features for the website are a big problem. This chat should be hosted from my site, right? And then as Theory Underground actually becomes an institution, I'll have to break myself of the habit of saying my and start saying ours. But for the time being, it's 98% mine still. So as long as that's the truth, yeah, my site should have this live stream chat on it, like the .gg streamers do, like I did back on the Theory Plea website for a while. Okay, I don't have that now. But there's a lot of reasons why that's a good thing. A lot of good things, like unique emojis that people can use on the chat that will be shown on screen. Ooh, that would be nice. I've wanted that for a long time. I only had that for a little while, right? But also something special about it is it weeds out the wheat from the chaff. People who are just shit posting, who don't have any skin in the game at all, gone from the picture, baby. We are only engaging with the chat that's on the website. That's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best thing ever. It's going to be wonderful. Scholarships, big problem for me. I have given out more scholarships than have actually been funded, and it's become a problem. I've given out more than 40 scholarships in the last 2 years. Only about $750 of that got funded, and everything else has come out of my pocket. And at a certain point, the people in my life who are wondering if this is a serious operation or if I'm going to have to grow up and move on in my life and do something else, those people start breathing down my neck. My only goal with money is to make enough that they leave me alone. So, at a certain point, I'll be able to pay someone to do administrative bullshit, and that person will not be my wife, and that person will just do it as a job, not because they love me, and not because they are a volunteer, but just because they just, whatever. This is what they do, right? And at that point, my closest confidant is not going to be preoccupied with the bullshit that I am otherwise preoccupied with, right? Division of labor versus division of drive. This is the big book that I would write right now if I could just have Hermione's little time changer thing. Her little hourglass that could pause time. Like, that's what I'd be working on right now. Definitely in the mood for it. But Grains Music says that Homestead is playing in SATX. Is that Texas or something? What's SA stand for? Should I know that? Look at all these people. Someone's smashing the emoji button. Good job. What else? Bar S says playing here. Where's here? Rebecca said, yeah, it's pretty bad. Horrifying, actually. Oh, not about the Homestead movie, but about the fire. Yeah. Ian says it sounds like it's not playing in Chicago. Oh, that's crazy. What's up, Slowski? What's up, Luis? Or Lewis? Hey, what's up, Lewis? Evan says, see, that's why I never went for scholarship. LOL. Zach Ailes says that it's playing in San Antonio. Oh, San Antonio, Texas. SATX. I get it. Okay. That makes sense. Well, I don't regret a single scholarship I've given out. Well, maybe like 3. I might regret like 3. There's been a couple people who they weren't worth it. We'll say that. But overall, I love the scholarship program and I want to do more of them. But we've never done a PSA for raising money for the scholarship. And we've never put up a page on the website for raising money for the scholarship. So, of course I haven't received any serious money for the scholarship. Also, we don't have a 501c3, so people can't get like a tax write-off. Look, if you want to get some money to some people for a scholarship, I've got several people emailing me wanting scholarships right now. Because these now involve other people, I can't just short myself on my labor. It's actually necessary that these be funded. It's not just me anymore. Like if I'm giving out scholarships and it's coming out of my pocket, that's one thing. But if I'm doing that and there's other people involved, like Benjamin and Ann and Nance and Mikey, and then we're bringing on other people, we've got all these interviews. It's like, at that point, I got to be like, okay, it's not coming out of my pocket anymore. These people are going to be wondering. So long story short, if you're rich and you want to fund something, the scholarships are a great way to go. We can talk about it. You could say, for instance, that you want $1,000 to be split up across a certain amount of people. You could say, sign up at the platinum level and then just send me an email saying, I don't want any of the perks that come with platinum. I just want you to give out like 6 silver memberships. Whatever. There's all kinds of shit you could do. 6? Is that right? Yeah, that would be right. Okay, anyway. IRL streaming is the other problem. I don't know if you guys know about this, but I've been talking about IRL streaming for a while. I guess like a grip, right? I've been talking about it, and it matters. It matters because we do stuff on the road. We are coming to a city near you, right? We're coming to a city near you, and we're doing events. We're doing events that are a hybrid. And when I say hybrid, I mean people are joining by Zoom, by YouTube Live, and then also their IRL, and they might be coming off of meetup.com or .org or whatever. They might be coming off of the internet through Instagram. They might be coming up because they're just walking by. And part of the point of the Agora, and I went deep into this as a form of Bildung not very long ago. I went deep into this on last Sunday, and so it's available to subscribers. But part of the point is to change how we speak, to rewire ourselves, to actually speak to the post-class fractured mass, where people only have a 30-second to 15-minute ability to follow what you're saying because they are walking by on their way to some other place. How to harness that, what to do with that, that is the question. And IRL streaming could mean that we are streaming while touring, while driving between cities in some cases, reading books together from the tour van. Well, turns out that hotels and the tour van and all of these different things that we're paying for out of pocket in some cases. Most of the time it's going to be Airbnbs or camping. But like basically if we're roughing it up or living somewhat comfortably, as comfortable as you can on tour, it depends on hospitality or patronage. And when it comes to, and this is the most crucial part, doing stuff live from downtown in all of these different cities, whether it's outdoors where the public is just walking by, or if it's at planned events where people are able to come and we have an actual space, we have an actual venue. When it comes down to all of that stuff, like, yeah, we can use Wi-Fi if it works, if it's fast enough, but not when we're on the road, not when we're in a national park, not when we're driving out in the middle of I don't know, Utah or whatever, right? Well, the IRL streaming setup that we want to use, it's not cheap. It's gonna cost us $3,000 to have the so like the Live U thing actually uses multiple SIM cards from different carriers so that if Verizon cuts out, it'll still be drawing from AT&T or T-Mobile. And if those cut out, potentially, if we have the funding, we could also be using Starlink Mobile so that we're using Starlink Mobile, our phones mobile, and then we're using these SIM cards for all these different carriers. And then it's all like the Live View technology makes it so that it's able to draw off of all of that stuff and actually get you a signal while we're out in the middle of nowhere driving. We want to experiment with that tech. There's amazing things that could be done with our ground game with that tech. We're doing 2 1-month-ish tours this year. There's so much that we can do with that tech. There's no way we're funding it out of pocket though, because we're already paying for the Airbnbs, the hotels, the gasoline, the van. So, this is a lot. I know I'm just dumping a lot, but I wanted to put it on your radar because it wouldn't be the first time someone's made something like that possible, but those kind of things are also somewhat rare. Okay? And so actually let me see if I can pull up the thing here. So like you could send me $1,000 on PayPal or Venmo or Cash App or whatever, obviously. But also I've got like this wish list, and on this wish list, the live view, you'll see it. It's $2,195. There's the link. Someone, if you buy me that, I'll do something for you, whatever it is that you want. I'll jump out this window for you, whatever. If that's what you want, I'll do it. And then finally, the last movie that we're going to talk about. So I already said, watch Homestead if you want to talk about where the conservative imaginary and also recruitment practices are currently at. It's very interesting. And Anne and I are going to talk about the things that we like about that movie, not just the things that are comically ridiculous. Okay, so there's that. We're about to close off this stream because I have to go see that movie a second time. It'll be Anne's first time, and we'll be talking about it on Saturday after the episode of Why Left that I'm doing with Benjamin. He'll be joining from Germany. I'll be doing something with him. Followed directly afterwards with Anne. We'll be doing the What's Right episode. Okay, but there's this movie called Nosferatu that Keir wants to pair with Baby Girl, and we're going to combine those two films in a sort of double feature conversation on What's Right. It's going to take place on the January 24th M-Stew, and the January 24th M-Stew has a lot of really special guests lined up, including a couple of contradictions that are likely to break the internet. So look out. And with that, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. The real shit's the courses and the seminars. Don't ever forget that. That's where the real shit's at. If you want to braid this braid with me, that's how to do it. Let me just, before I close out, pull up for you all the screen here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I say the braid. Can you dig it? Check this out. So this is Google. Let's go ahead and add myself to it so that you'll be able to see me now. Let's see. Where am I? Let's get me up on here. Okay, you can see me? All right, check this out. So if I click this button, it'll take me to the Substack. This is the Theory Underground Substack. Yeah, this is all like back-end stuff. Look, I'm getting my view count back up because I'm not doing the podcasts anymore. But with that said, yeah, this article is called 2025, Get Based in Philosophy and Theory, the TU Base Braid We Are Weaving for the Year. And then the subtitle is The Core Concepts at TU, Fault Line Theory 101, Political Theory 101, and Philosophy of Nature. They go together and weave with the ongoing seminars, the Turn, and the Agora. Okay, there's nothing like this that's ever existed, except for resonances and rhymes. There's pieces of things that we've been inspired by, but a lot of this comes out of our critical media theory research that we've been doing here at Theory Underground, and I'm so flippin' stoked to show it to you. So let me show you a couple more things about this. There's a beautiful image here. Oh yeah, of me. Look at me. Beautiful, beautiful image. No, this is not what I'm talking about. But if you were to hold down your finger on that QR code, your smartphone might be smart enough to actually open up that link. We'll see. Look at that. Another beautiful picture. This one's of Mikey, aka Michael Downs. He's doing the fault line theory. And then we got Benjamin Studebaker. He's doing Political Theory 101. And we got Nina Powers. She's doing Philosophy of Nature. And then, of course, you have my shit. It's the core concepts and fundamental problems at Theory Underground, where I'm going to try to condense 2 years of courses into one 12-part course that takes place on a monthly basis. I am doing a 12-part course. Nina Power is doing a 12-part course. Benjamin Studebaker is doing a 12-part course. And then Mikey, Benjamin, and I are each doing our own seminar as well. Those 3 seminars and those 3 courses weave this beautiful looking braid. Look at it. Look at how beautiful it is. I'm trying to point. How do you point it? There. Look at that. I'm doing this for the thumbnail. Yeah, guys, that's fucking awesome. The braid. You can see that I am the blue. Mikey is the yellow. Studebaker is the red. Nina is the green. And they're all being woven into this QR code, which will take you to the subscription spot. None of the courses have started yet. They're all starting this month. They take place over time. They're for busy people. It is what it is. If you love it, you love it. If you don't, fuck you. And that is all I had to say today. I love you guys. I mean the 5 of you who get it. And everybody else who thinks I was too parasocial, don't worry. I didn't mean you. And parasociality and parasocialism. I have big critiques of both. If you want to know what those are, you'll have to wait until another time, because I have got a biggity bounce. So thank you, everybody. It's been fun. Take care. You can support the free and public work at TU by becoming a patron over at Patreon.
But if you would like to get involved and become a member at Theory Underground so that you can listen to special content that is not accessible to anyone else, or if you go up a subscriber level, actually join in the discussions, or at the top level, have us actually read your work, giving constructive feedback, and ultimately paving a way to potentially being a part of what we call the turn, then you'll want to become a subscriber. That's how you will access the ongoing courses and seminars. We've brought together Benjamin Studebaker's experience in political theory and science and philosophy with my critical social theory, phenomenology, existentialism, critique of political economy, critical media theory approach, combined with Michael Downes's fault line theory. You know, the CCRU versus Ljubljana School, or Žižek versus Land. And of course, how he brings those against one another and then transcends them through other thinkers like Baudrillard, who he'll be teaching an intro course to in 2025. All of us are teaching stuff in 2025 that rhymes or argues or goes together. And so the best way to accelerate your development getting into theory right now is to just become a subscriber at TU. Just go to the website, click get involved, and I'm gonna look, this, what I'm about to play for you all is a really special moment from our documentary that we're working on, an interview where Benjamin explains why he's supporting Theory Underground and getting involved as a active member here at the core of the teaching team.
Yeah, so the thing that I notice is that a lot of people criticize the university, they criticize the left, they don't build an alternative institution. They will go, the university sucks, but you know what's great? Substack and Patreon and YouTube, and they'll lean into that. But that is a negation, right? You guys don't do that. You guys are interested in sublating the university within the newly emergent media. Or you could frame it the other way, sublating the newly emergent media within the university, right? And so this, of course, will ultimately lead, if you take it where it goes, to a question of institutions and having actual economic, social role possibilities for theorists. This is the critical crisis, which is that there are still some very bright, very well-educated people, but they are not able to replace themselves. And because most of them have university positions, their level of interest in replacing themselves is to some degree compromised.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry that much about themselves. They don't have that much stake in it because they're already set up. However, because you are in the underground, you have some potential of being able to actually create an institution or structure which makes it possible for people to do theory in the future. This is something that, as far as I can tell, only you are doing. The thing about freeing Mikey from wage labor, this idea not only that your channel would free you from the Amazon job, but that this could grow in such a way that it could provide spaces for multiple people, and then those multiple people could interact in the way that they would in a monastery or in a university department. This is the revolutionary idea in terms of raising consciousness and making it possible for us to think in such a way that we could return even to the horizons of the tens and talking about things like Medicare for all in a not stupid, not bullshit way, in a serious way. To get to that point, we need to raise our level of ability to think. We need new intellectuals in our generation that are real intellectuals and not people who are running around scared of what the DSA or their university department thinks of them. You have the potential to actually make a real material intervention into not just knowledge production, but in Bildung, into the making of people. Yeah. This is something that we can do. There's a window right now where I am not in the university, and so I have a real reason to think very seriously about, can we do something else? Because I'm annoyed, myself with the whole process of trying to be in that. And I would like there to be something else, something better. I have all my critiques of it that come in part from being at Cambridge, in part from studying ancient thinkers. We could do something better than it. Not just something that is an imitation or steals some things from it and does the best you can with it, but something that actually is better and that produces the kind of theory that in modernity, how do you make a Hegel? How do you make a Marx? We have to reinvent this. It's no longer possible to do that. We've got to, I think, actually institutionalize in a material way, and this is the sense in which I will uphold the kernel of materialism, actually giving a shit about the structure and what kind of structure is necessary to give rise to a form of life in which this kind of really, really good work can be produced.